Here's what this tells me. They don't believe in Jalen Hurts. They don't believe, no, nor should they, by the way. I don't have any problem with that. He's an unproven quarterback. There's a lot of uncertainty.
Oh, a lot's going to go down. A lot went down over the weekend. That much more this upcoming week. No actual football games played because we have a bye week before the season starts, which annoys me no end. But we march on. We forward ourselves to get ready for the 2021 season. Jody McDonald, John McMullen. Johnny Mac, how was the Eagle preseason game on Friday, which I didn't make?
Ooh, you're lucky, man. First of all, I mean, I thought they were going to cancel the game. I've never seen nothing. I've never seen anything like it. The storms that hit MetLife Stadium before the game. I mean, Dave Zangaro, buddy, his car got hit by lightning. It died. Yeah, getting off the New Jersey Turnpike. It got hit by lightning. He's fine, thankfully.
While still in motion?
I didn't get the whole story, but his car died. Obviously, he had to call AAA, had to leave it up there. So I hope Dave's all right, by the way. But hopefully I'll see him today. But he's all right physically. Yeah, and you know, when the torrential downpours came, there were bubbles on the field. The field was bubbling up like it was lava, like it was a volcano.
I saw some video of that, yes.
Yeah, everybody was coming out to take a look at this. I know Zach Ertz had said he never saw anything like it before. Jason Kelsey, of course, is a knucklehead. He's doing the old going out like a baseball player sliding in the rain,
right.
But it was a scene, man. And you know, they had a lot of NFL, Jets, Eagles executives. Joe Douglas came out, obviously Howie Roseman. You got the sense before the game it was going to be a Brian Billick, you know, veteran stadium situation where they were going to say we're not going to play. And by the way, if it were closer to kickoff, because this happened about 3 hours before kickoff, 2.5 hours maybe. If it were closer to the game, they would have canceled that game. They pushed it back a half hour. And to be honest, I think they would have liked to have canceled the game, but you already have fans there, little few fans. You know, Jets preseason games, not many people show up to them. But fans were already in the parking lot in the stadiums. They ended up kicking it back a half hour. And as I said, the only thing that saved that game was the timing. It was outrageous.
Quick aside, you're truly supposed to go, myself, my daughter, with tickets, not as a media member. And I had a dentist appointment at 11 o'clock shortly after we wrapped up Birds 365 here on Friday. So I went and I had to have 3 different teeth pulled. So they gave me Percocet for the pain. And it was like, I didn't feel anything when I had them pulled because they shot me well full of Novocaine. As a matter of fact, I got home, I bled all over myself. I'm just drooling blood, made it all the way through my beard, onto my nice light blue shirt. My wife said, get that shirt, just go, take your clothes off. Usually good when your wife says take your clothes off, but it wasn't really all that good for me. So I laid down, the pills started to kick in. I called my daughter in the middle of the afternoon and said, yeah, I'm going nowhere. I don't know about you. You want to use the tickets, go ahead, fine, but I'm going nowhere fast. She said, Dad, have you seen the weather forecast? I said, no. She goes, supposed to be torrential rain. I hadn't not even heard that until my daughter told me she's not going either. So we ended up eating the tickets. No big deal. But yeah, none of the McDonald's attended the game. But it ended up great game right down to the wire, tied on the last play of the game. And you were still riveted in your seat in the press box.
I was not riveted. Actually, I wasn't. I had already gone downstairs inside. I thought the game was over like everybody else.
You never count out the Jets. Don't ever do that, McMullen. You learned a lesson on Monday. Do not count out the Jets.
Well, yeah, the game's over no matter what. Ends up in a tie. I do think, you know, I felt bad for Mike Jacquet because people are killing the poor kid. He makes a play, you know, to strip the football and score the touchdown. And then everybody's after the game. Well, if you take a knee, the game's over right there. It is. But, you know, you're trying to make a play. You're trying to make a splash play. And then ultimately he was also involved in a bad way with the Hail Mary. So, turn from hero to GOAT if he can be a hero with a preseason win. But so I felt a little bit bad for him. I felt a little bit bad for Nick Sirianni because, he thought he had his first NFL win, albeit preseason. Didn't happen. Maybe learn from it. Hopefully. We're going to have Ryan Paganetti, game management, Doug Peterson's game management sort of specialist, data analytics specialist. Maybe you learn something about game management if you're Nick Sirianni. So maybe there's some positives you can take out of it.
Which, by the way, hold on. I'm going to try and not injure myself while patting myself on the back. Did I not ask you the question on Friday? Will there be an Eagle player who will come up big in Friday's game, who you really don't think has a chance to make the team, but they make such a big play that they enhance their chances, and the Eagle fans will be talking about it before the cut. Oh, we got to keep this guy. We got to keep this guy. Do you remember that conversation we had on Friday?
I do remember that conversation. I don't think that happens, but, not but fan-wise it happens. I mean, team-wise, evaluation-wise. I don't think anybody's swaying anything on one particular play, but I hear what you're saying from a fan perspective.
Did I not say pick 6 for Michael JAKIB?
Yes, and you were almost correct.
It was a strip fumble recovery and taken in for a touchdown, which is better than a pick 6.
Yeah.
Except you're right. He should have actually taken a knee and gotten the game over and done with. But he's trying to make the team, so you know where he's coming from. I don't think JAKIB's going to make the team. So, but I just thought it was a fun question to ask. And damn it, Michael, even if you don't make the team, buddy, you're one of my guys now. You came up big for me. You made me look like I knew what I was talking about on Friday's Birds 365. So I hope you're on the practice squad. I hope you get a chance to make a play this year.
I think he's definitely going to be on the practice squad because I think he's going to clear waivers. And by the way, he's probably the 6th corner. So if you keep 6 corners, he's probably going to make the team. Personally, I don't think he's done enough to make the team, but we'll see. There's a lot of uncertainty, as I said, with this year more than ever. And you've heard it from guys who've been on the show saying the same thing. We don't have as good a feel as we typically do this time of year when Doug Peterson was here, and you could pretty much whittle it down to 2 or 3 players. This guy might be here. This guy might not be here. I say you're about 47 maybe solids, and there's a lot of back end stuff that could happen on this roster. And by the way, I think it's going to happen. We've already seen one trade that we're going to have to talk about, and that's going to be big news, and who knows what kind of way. And Gardner Minshew arriving, and then you might have more trades. I know you're going to have some waiver wire pickups. So there's, when they cut down to 53, which might happen today because the Eagles are practicing this afternoon, which is a weird sort of schedule quirk. I can't imagine they're going to have people they're going to cut practice. So we might get that announcement later this morning or early this afternoon because the practice is, I think, at 1:30. Kind of a weird schedule quirk. You're going to have a lot of movement even when you get down to that 53. And you have the extra time as well to juggle the roster, as you mentioned, because week 1 isn't this weekend coming up. It's the weekend after. So there's a lot of time as well.
All right, let me ask you a couple quick questions on the guys who they already cut. The Eagles got them through waivers early. I don't believe any of them were claimed. Corey Angeline, Jaquan Bailey, Elijah Holyfield, your boy who didn't make a big play for you, Mr. Michael, like you thought he might on Friday, and Rashad Smith. Any of these guys potential practice squad guys in your mind?
I think Bailey might be. He's an undrafted rookie from Iowa State defensive end. He's clearly not big enough. He's not strong enough. You think about all the difficulties the Eagles had stopping the run in the preseason, especially in the second half when guys like Bailey and Rashad Smith were out there. Another guy was released. They really struggled trying to stop the run. In Bailey's case, he's just not big enough, just not strong enough. So maybe if you get a year sort of with an NFL training staff, maybe you can turn into an NFL level prospect. And remember, it's 16 deep the practice squad instead of normal. We never got to 12. It was supposed to go from 10 to 12 last year, but because of COVID, they bumped it up to 16. It's supposed to be 12 again this year, but because of COVID, they bumped it up to 16. So it's much larger now. So you have room for guys like who probably wouldn't have made it before, but want to make it now. Elijah Holyfield, too, only for this reason. Guy's the hardest worker on the team, man. If you ever go to high school practice, high school football practice, there's always that one kid who's first to every drill, who's first in every, gas or whatever they got him doing. That's Elijah Holyfield with the Eagles. He's first to everything. He's such a hard worker. So you might want that around your team, the practice squad. So why not? So I would give him an outside chance as well.
Elijah Holyfield's nickname Rudy. Is that what they call him around there?
They call him probably the real deal because of his dad.
The real deal practice player. We shall see. Before we get Ryan Paganetti up, let's just spend a couple minutes talking about Gardner Minshew. Howie Roseman, the wheeler dealer that he is, couldn't let a regular season arrive without a spring trade in there. I've read every account, listened to calls on WIP. It's a good trade. Anytime you can get a guy who's been a starter
in a vacuum, it's a good trade.
Right.
In a vacuum, it's a good trade.
It absolutely is.
You would think Howie Roseman would have learned from last year things don't exist in a vacuum.
Right. And we got to see it play itself out. And it might play itself out well. It could play itself out mediocre. Or
you can go to the other direction too. Tip it all the way.
You can't know because you're only giving up a 6th-round pick. How bad can it be?
No, you're right. From the perspective,
6th-round pick turns into an all-pro player that someone takes with the Eagles picking the 6th round next year.
No, I agree with you from that perspective. Here's what this tells to me. Here's what this tells me.
I know where you're going. Okay, I see where you're going.
Here's what this tells me. They don't believe in Jalen Hurts. They don't believe, nor should they, by the way. I don't have any problem with that. He's an unproven quarterback. There's a lot of uncertainty. They can't get Deshaun Watson. We've reported this for months. Now it's out there. He doesn't want to play here. He's got a no-trade clause. The Eagles have been doing their due diligence. They want the player behind the scenes. Look, if nobody else bites and he's got no other options, maybe he revisits. That's always been the Eagles' plan. So let's put Deshaun Watson off to the side as well. So what do? You don't have your long-term quarterback. Your long-term quarterback is probably in Norman, Oklahoma now, or Chapel Hill, North Carolina. He's not here. So, until you get that guy, why not get more darts to throw at the dartboard? And that's what I think they did. I don't think that's a bad strategy. I do think it's an interesting strategy considering what they went through last season with Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts and the effect. The Eagles have planned, whether people want to believe this or not, and I don't give a blind what, the Eagles' plan for Jalen Hurts was this to be a cost-effective backup for 3 years and then spin him off and trade him and try to get an asset in return when he hopefully played well in the preseason, hopefully showed other teams around this league, quarterback desperate teams, that he was a worthy starting level player. The long-term answer was already here. It was Carson Wentz. It derailed horribly. Now you're bringing in a kid who, by the way, is much more proven than the starting quarterback and thinks, by the way, he should be competing with the uber talented Trevor Lawrence. And you think he's going to waltz into Philadelphia as the 3rd string quarterback and say, this guy who's done nothing is better with that personality, with that Fitzpatrick-like personality? Well, I from that perspective, Jody, I don't know. When you talk about chemistry, when you talk about locker room, when you talk about rookie head coach, hey, Nick Sirianni, go manage this guy with the mustache and the big personality. And by the way, if Jalen Hurts struggles early in the season with that freaking personality, he's going to be the most popular guy in town.
No, I'll tell you one guy who loses out on this, Joe Flacco.
I'm not even talking about poor Joe
Because
Flacco. He was
Flacco will
great.
be the
Great
Flacco will be
against
the
the
backup.
Yeah.
If Jalen Hurts goes out and gets hurt in week 1, the first guy off the bench is going to be Flacco. It's not going to be Gardner Minshew, no matter what he says, no matter how big a personality he has. It's going to be Flacco. Oh, but Flacco will be scrutinized like you read about. The minute he throws a bad pass, throws a worm burner, overthrows a wide receiver, Gardner. Yes, the Eagle fans will be chiming in, which is the reason why I asked you the question before the show started. You guys get to make requests of the Eagles. We'd like to talk to this guy. Who are you going to make available on Zoom? I got to believe Gardner Minshew is the most requested player on the Philadelphia Eagles today. If you're submitting your request for who to speak to, and you said, oh, they'll get us Gardner. I said, I don't know. The Eagles are a little on the paranoid side. They can be. And what you and I just went through as a potential scenario with some drama in the quarterback room, I think they may keep Gardner under wraps until after the season starts.
I don't think we'll see. I mean, we'll see today. They should have him available today. I said 99%. I said 100% he'd be available. And then I can't recall them not giving us a player acquired via trade with any kind of reputation whatsoever. So, it would stick out like a sore thumb. They're going to get some backlog if they're going to hear some criticism and that they don't give us Gardner Minshew. I don't think there's even a remote chance that could happen. Now, you said we request all the time. We've been requesting Zach Ertz since day one, and they haven't given us Zach Ertz.
Yeah, how's that going for you?
So, but again, I can't come up with a scenario where a player was acquired, whether it's free agency, trade, and they did not provide him to the media. So if they do that, they're setting a new precedent, and they're going to get killed for it. That's more than anything else.
Just remember where you heard it here first. You think it's going to be today. I don't think it's going to be today or tomorrow or the next day.
Well, today I'm not, because they could throw up while he's traveling. He's got to pass the physical. COVID, there's COVID things. I don't even know the stinking rules now. Can he be in the building? Can he not be in the building? There's so many. They could lean on that for a little while, but not a long period.
All right.
And by the way, behind the scenes, while they're leaning on that, they're going to be saying, look, Gardner, do this, do that. Say you want to compete, but, don't say you want to be the starter, that kind of stuff. They prepare people for these situations as well. But to me, that's ancillary. That's, who cares? To me, the biggest point of this is this guy truly believed that he should be competing with Trevor Lawrence. So if you think that he doesn't want to be the starting quarterback on the Philadelphia Eagles, you're nuts.
Well, of course he does. Everybody, every third string quarterback in the league believes you should be the starter. That's why they're in the league. They're that competitive. So just wanting to be that level player.
There's a difference, because Nick Foles was the exact opposite. Nick Foles is the backup quarterback, right? He accepted that role. Did he want to compete behind the scenes? Yeah. Of course, everybody who plays professional sports should want to compete, but there's different personalities, different philosophies. Pinch hitters in baseball. I always used to like that analogy. You might have 10 better players, but they can't be a good pinch hitter because they can't go up there once or twice a week and say, okay, I'm going to get this great at bat. They need extra bats. They need to get in the flow. You have to have a special type of personality to be a good backup quarterback in this league, and not everybody has it.
Which, by the way, do we have any idea that Gardner Minshew is at?
No,
none whatsoever, because he's been a starter for 2 years in the league. And by the way, I've seen, like, our buddy Ruben Frank put up a column about stats.
Oh, don't give me the stats. Please, with these people. Gardner Minshew's got a better passer rating than Joe Montana. That should tell you all you need to know. It's a different game. Stop with the stats. Stop. Ryan Paganetti's probably listening. I'm talking about Ryan, by the way, before we got to hit a break and we'll bring you on. I'm talking about Gardner Minshew's stats comparing them to Joe Montana. It's a different game. So from that standpoint, and Ryan will probably tell you analytically, that's not really, a comparison.
And to put a final point on the analytics of it, when the Eagles signed Nick Mullins, he's third all time in the NFL after his first 15 starts in yards passed, behind only like Mahomes and some. Third in the history of the NFL, most yards in his first 15 starts in the NFL. How'd it work out for Nick Mullins? I told you he couldn't play. The Eagles saw he couldn't play, and that is why Gardner Minshew is here. He's John McMullen. I'm Jody McDonald. Ryan Paganetti, former Eagles coach, assistant offensive game management for the Eagles, and Doug Peterson's going to join us next here on Birds 360.